told me I'm your anchor, I told you you're my pole. Through the wind and fire we tried to hold on. We built this ship together, searching.
So you can't probably hear me at all because it's pretty windy right now. So the main purpose of this little video is to test my new camera. I need to have a play with it. Obviously I want my videos to get better so they can be more informative. So just heading out for a few miles, tinkering with the camera, seeing how it feels. But one of the questions I have been asked, I thought I could discuss today while I'm out in this little jaunt, is am I too big for ultra running? A lot of people ask me that question, so let's talk about it. How big is too big? So for example, people are always surprised, which way shall I go? I don't know where I am. People are always surprised to hear that I am 6'2" and around 15 stone currently. So most people would imagine me to be on the slightly larger side for an ultra runner, and to be fair they'd be right, but it really depends what you're training for. So you get your really wiry, sinewy, you know, distance runners, but then they have sculpted their body and their physique to be adaptable at their event. And if they only do endurance running, then, you know, arguably they don't need the power and the strength that other athletes do. Now, you could go to the other end of the scale and look at, you know, a massive bodybuilder, you know, much bigger than me, and you know, they're all about size, but often lacking any kind of cardio. So, you know, I would say that both ends of that scale are arguably quite unhealthy. You will get your exceptions, of course. Some people are gifted genetically, some people are just freaks of nature and they're very lucky. But you will get some, I have no idea where I am, carry on, I like and explore, but you will get some people who like to find a happy medium, a compromise, and I guess I'd be one of those people that fall into that bracket. And once upon a time there wasn't really a name for that, but now you're starting to see a lot more on YouTube and the internet about what's starting to be referred to as a hybrid athlete, which I guess I could class myself as that. But I mean, again, what is a hybrid athlete? Just sometimes feels like we have to label something for the sake of labeling it. But I would say if you look at someone like CrossFit athletes, you know, love or hate CrossFit, you know, think what you want, but the decent CrossFit athletes are jacked. They are really in shape, and you know, they've got great levels of strength and great levels of cardio. So in many ways I guess you could say that's the ultimate in terms of a hybrid athlete. But by the same token, a CrossFit athlete is unlikely to do ultra marathons, is unlikely to do bodybuilding competitions. So again, I think I know where this goes actually. I'm going to head back that way. Funny how you work things out when you go a different route. I never knew that came to here, but anyway. So I guess a hybrid athlete would be closer to a CrossFit athlete in some respects. And you know, I'm someone that doesn't just do ultra running. You know, I still I like my fitness competitions where I need explosive power. I still like to play rugby now and then when the body allows. So, and I still like to hold a level of muscle. So it really depends what you want. And you can, like I always say, the body is the most adaptable machine, and you can train it to do just about anything and accomplish anything and get used to anything, and it will adapt. So yes, I suppose on the start line to some of my ultras I may look a slightly larger framed athlete than some of the wiry guys and girls that look like they eat long distance for breakfast. But I've always had a very good engine, so I can go for long periods of time and I still have power held back, and I can still do other types of sports and activities which I actually find the most beneficial to my lifestyle. You know, I don't want to be a one-trick pony, and I don't want my body to only be able to do one thing that I ask of it. So I like to be adaptable. And actually what you find is, just go slower so you can hear me because the wind is, I'm running into it. So what I often find is, you know, I start a lot of my ultras, and you know, it's about discipline. I've managed to learn this pacing discipline over time with friends like Craigie and stuff, who you know, have kept an eye on our pacing to make sure we don't start too quick, because you can start an ultra very excitable and you get carried away with the atmosphere, and sometimes people shoot off, and I see it all the time. But 9 times out of 10, if I'm doing like 100k or whatever, 100 miles, I know that I'll see 99% of those people later on in the day. Sometimes I won't see them again for 12 hours, but then, you know, in the darkness I'll be overtaking people that I'm recognising at the start, because, you know, all the wiry runners have shot off because they got faster early doors pace, but they tail off, they got no reserves, whereas I can come back stronger often, and that's one of the advantages of being sort of my size and shape. So yeah, I'm carrying around a bigger frame. I guess that's takes a bigger toll on the joints, and I need more calories because of the energy expenditure. But I find I'm well suited to it. I've got a good engine. I'll go for a long time at a slower pace, but ultimately I'll end up overtaking a lot of these people that have shot off. So what is am I too big for ultra running? Well, I go up and I go down over the years depending on what events I've got coming up or what season I'm in. But so I've been bigger than this, I've been smaller than this, but currently I find that sort of at 6'2", around 15 stone, that's about right for me. If I go lighter than that, and I have gone about a stone lighter, I can't go too much lighter than that because I'm just sort of too big, and you know, naturally I'm quite big framed. But I can go about a stone lighter, but I do feel noticeably weaker, and I'm lacking in power. And actually I don't think it's a healthy weight for me. I think being slightly on the heavier side is better for my frame, and I can carry more power and more energy with it, whereas I feel depleted if I'm much smaller. And then equally, you know, when I was playing rugby more regularly and more seriously, I was a stone, sometimes 2 stone heavier than what I am now, and arguably, whilst I carried a lot of power at times, that was too heavy and probably not a healthy weight. So you know, I think this, around the body weight I am now, around 15 stone, is about right for my 6'2" frame and for my activities. So you know. But same disclaimer for all of my videos, I'm not an expert, I'm not a doctor, and what fits one person may not necessarily fit the next. So, you know, it's trial and error, but being sensible. So what works for me may not necessarily work for you. You've got to see what you're suited to. We're all different. See what works, but don't count yourself out of anything just because you're a certain body shape or size, because from my experience that's not always how it works. Actually, it's what's here and what's here that is really going to count at the end of the day, and you'll see that in more of my videos than anything else. Mindset, resilience, it all comes down to that. People's bodies will go on for ages, but their minds and their hearts will give up because they haven't got this. So worry more about that, worry more about this, and then worry about whether you're too big for ultra running, because for me, no, you're not. Anyway, just my thoughts. Got a few more miles to put in, so let's crack on.